to No Filter Boxing. This week we look ahead to one of the most anticipated domestic fights of the year, Daniel Dubois versus Nathan Gorman. For Dubois, it's the chance to continue his rise in the division as one of the UK's biggest prospects.
I know I need to be the best fighter I can be on the night and every fight I go into. You know, this is a fight and I need to be 100% switched on and as I am and listen to the advice from my coaches, my dad and everyone around me.
But Nathan Gorman has other ideas and is relishing the opportunity to ruin the party.
Probably I'm the underdog going into this fight. A lot of people will write me off and stuff, which is good because all the pressure is on his shoulders. You know, he's the golden boy, he's the one what's got to shine. I haven't. Whatever he says, you know, I'm his easiest fight and that, he knows deep down in his own heart and mind what I'm like in that ring.
It all makes for a classic heavyweight encounter. Both men putting their unbeaten records on the line. But who will prevail?
Gorman certainly has posted a real statement here. Big punches again from Dubois with fast hands. Another imposing performance from the young man. Caught him there and he's gone. Oh my goodness! And it's all over.
Remember the name of Triple D.
Massive right hand, and this time it's all over. Powering on the pressure once more.
So Nathan, Daniel Dubois, is he the best that you've fought so far?
Yeah, he's going to be the best I've fought, obviously, because he's an unbeaten prospect, you know, same as myself, with ambitions. No disrespect, the calibre me and him has fought, you know, they've been beat. Well, I have fought a couple of them, you know, unbeaten prospects in my fights, but they've got that, you know, that acceptance of, I'll lose here, you know what I mean? Where me and him were different, you know, we're both very ambitious fighters. So, yeah, on paper he is going to be the best I've fought, but also that's going to bring out the best of me.
Daniel Dubois has absolute dynamite in his fists. Oh, that's surely it. Oh, and he's caught him with the left to the jaw, followed by the right hand, and he goes down.
Why is there hype around Dubois?
Obviously, Frank signed from day one, hasn't he? You know, Frank found him from the rumour with Joshua.
That he dropped Joshua in sparring, or hurt him in sparring.
Yeah, I never seen it, unless I turned around for a split second and he was on the canvas, but I'm sure you'd hear a big man like Joshua falling on that canvas, but, you know, who knows?
How dangerous is Dubois?
I think it goes without saying he's extremely dangerous. You know what I mean? He's right over Ricky Hatton street. You know what I mean? He's good to watch. Goes for the knockout, high punch volume, in your face. Very, very dangerous. It doesn't need me to say that, but I just think we've got more tools in our toolbox. You know, Nathan's got unbelievable hand speed. Unbelievable boxing ability. I think he's got the better boxing brain. I think the opposition haven't prepared for how nasty Nathan can be in that ring. I mean, Sean Turner was the one that witnessed it firsthand. Sean Turner put it on Nathan. Nathan sat in the pocket and, no disrespect, beat Sean up. And I don't think they've prepared for that side of Nathan Gorman. I think what they think, he's very quick, he might win a few of the early rounds, but we're going to get him down the home straight because he can't fight up close and that. And I think they're going to get a shock.
Going into this fight, I probably am the underdog going into this fight. A lot of people will write me off and stuff, which is good because all the pressure is on his shoulders. You know, he's the golden boy, he's the one what's got to shine. I haven't. I've asked for this fight because I want to fight the best of, you know, my era. You know what I mean? I want to be involved in the best fights I can. And I think Daniel, listen, we're on the same team, you know, the same stable. Frank Warren and BT Sport Promotions. We're under the same banner, so why can't we fight? You know, we both had virtually the same amount of fights. We're basically the same age. It's an easy fight to make. Let's get it on. That's why I've been calling for this fight.
You've always rated Nathan, haven't you?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, when the first day he walked through the gym door, he was 18 years of age. He'd had about 7 amateur fights and just moved so natural, you know, with his ability, his footwork, just everything about him. And when they turned around and said he's only 18, he's had 7 fights, you know, majority of the floor. That shows just natural ability. He was already in the Great Britain squad after 7 fights. It's just natural.
Good hit, skin. Good shot.
So what does Dubois do well?
I think he does the basics very well. My personal opinion, he's an Eastern European style, you know, very upright, very rigid, typical polished boxer, you know, jab, everything off the jab, 1-2, does the basics very well. You don't really see him slipping and sliding.
Good work. Move your head after.
You know, he does everything off that jab, you know, like I said, Eastern European style, the big 1-2, setting you up for a big, massive right hand. I don't know if he hits you, it's going to hurt. But I prefer watching the art of the game, hit and not get hit, you know. That's my personal opinion.
What an exciting time to be a British heavyweight, you know what I mean? You know, when he was a British, fighting for the British title, or he was the British heavyweight champion a few years ago, no one had heard of you. But now, if you are the British champion, you're one hell of a fighter these days, you know, because there's that many, you know, in the domestic division, the heavyweight division, and now on the world scene, you know, with Joshua and Dylan White and Fury, you know, it's a good time to be a British heavyweight, isn't it?
You seem to have a lot of confidence from your sparring sessions with him in the past.
Yeah.
Can you read much into them?
Yeah, obviously, we're going back, you know, 3-4 years ago. I'm a completely different fighter now, and vice versa, so is he. We're both professional, you know, we've matured a lot more from there. But I never dropped around, you know, I was up there for 3 years, and every day we'd do probably 6 to 8, maybe 10 rounds, you know, every day. Accumulation of that period, you're building up a lot of rounds there, and, you know, 200 to 300 rounds. And I think I never lost a round, to be fair. Well, I know I didn't. So, in that factor, as a fighter, you know, you can gain a lot of confidence, and you also can have your confidence dinted, you know, because Daniel, and whatever he says, you know, I'm his easiest fighter, and that he knows deep down in his own heart and mind what I'm like in that ring.
Feeling good?
Very good. Can't remember the days now, innit? When I walk out, you know, and into the O2, July the 13th, there's no excuses. Every box been ticked in his camp. There's been no stone unturned. He's going to fight the best possible Nathan Gorman.
What type of fight do you expect?
Oh, I expect it to be fireworks. It can be one of them, you know, from word go, from the opening bell, we both get a centre of the ring and let bombs go at each other, and it's whoever lands first. Or he could come out, you know, he could want to be technical and do everything behind his own jab. I believe in my own heart and mind, from round 1 onwards, what he can give me, I've got an answer for.
He's a Gorman. He's like Bartley. He's got it in the genes. Yeah. He's got it in the genes. He's not this nice kid, nice polite kid with the fast hands and the nice boxing ability. I promise you, he's not. And I've said to him, Nathan, you're going to have to show that side again against Daniel, because otherwise we can't be bullied. You've got to be the boss.
Go on, right down his throat. Go on, again, come on, go on, drag him out, come on.
His hand speed and boxing ability is not quite going to be enough against Daniel. He needs the other attributes, because, I mean, if he thinks he can just run away and use his speed and keep out of Daniel's way for 12 rounds, he's very much mistaken. Daniel will keep coming and keep coming and keep coming. He's got a good engine, Daniel. He looks to have a high punch volume. And if he just, you know, makes him miss and comes back with them rat-a-tat-tat punches, that'll be night and day for Daniel. He'll love that.
There! Take him by surprise again with that.
And it's one of the oldest sayings in boxing. He's got to make him miss and make him pay. He's got to drill him hard right down the middle as he comes in, hit him hard, gain his respect, because if he keeps, you know, if he just moves and just hits him with 3 or 4 little arm shots each time he makes him miss, Daniel will keep coming and will get him down the home straight.
This fight could catapult you into the top, certainly the top 10.
Oh, 100%.
So who's number 1 and who's number 2 and who's number 3 in the division right now?
In the world?
Yes.
My personal opinion, I would go Fury, Tyson, number 1, Ruiz, 2nd, Wilder, 3, if I had to put him in order, myself personally. Obviously, like you said, the winner are me and Daniel. I think Platu's into the top 5 in the world. I really believe, in the governing bodies. So there's some, before you know it, you're knocking on that world door after this fight,
So O2 Arena in July, what happens? Gorman, Dubois, how does it pan out?
We've prepared like you always do. You prepare for 12 hard rounds, do you know what I mean? And the likeliness is, if it doesn't matter my opinion or their opinion or how confident I am or how confident they are, most people would see it as a 50-50. It's a 50-50 fight, and I suppose that's the way trainers have got to look at it. You've got to prepare for the best Daniel Dubois that's going to turn up. I just know what my lad's capable of.
Do you anticipate fireworks?
I do anticipate fireworks. I anticipate a massive shock. And that's how confident I am with my lad.
Nathan, you come from a proud fighting background. What does the Gorman name mean?
A lot of things. Like you said, it's a fighting name. If you look back through my line of history, there's always been fighters. My great grandfather was a bare knuckle boxer. My great grandfather was a bare knuckle fighter. My uncle Bartley, the one who wrote the book King of the Gypsies, he was a bare knuckle fighter. So I'd like to say it's lines and lines of generations, of fighters in my family.
Were you influenced into going down that route?
Not at all. My dad always said to me, I don't want you associating with the, that world at all. To be fair, he didn't even want me to do boxing. He was very, very hesitant for me to box. He didn't want me to do it at all. I snuck off one day, I went to the gym without him knowing, and I come back and told him. He wasn't very pleased, but when he sat down and thought about it, he said, if you really want to do it 110%, he said, I'll back you along the way. As you can tell, he's with me every single training session.
Why did your dad not want you to go down that road?
I think he's seen a lot of it growing up himself, with the fights and etc. I mean, my dad's not interested in, he's a very quiet person, and which I am myself, and I think he didn't want me to be in a violent sport, which as a father myself now, I wouldn't want my son to box. I think it's a very, very hard sport to be in.
If you could plot your route perfectly towards heavyweight title, how many fights are you away from it?
I'd want my next fight after this one to be for a world title, but being sensible and serious, I'd imagine, obviously first and foremost, I've got to get Daniel out of the way first. Probably 4 to 5 fights, There's no rush. I'm 23 years of age. If I was in my mid-30s, end of 30s, then you got to push on them. But all I'm going to do now is just gain more experience and get better.
You and Daniel, do you envisage your paths crossing down the line?
Yeah, definitely.
After.
Do you know something? I've said this before. I won't be surprised if there's a trilogy in this fight. If this fight goes the way I'm thinking it's going to go, I think the public will demand it to be again, or a trilogy. It won't surprise me.
Ricky ensures us that you've got some real nastiness about you, but you don't come across as a bad guy.
No, not at all. A lot of people, but when you get in that ring, you got, for them 12 rounds and 36 minutes, you're going to hate that person, aren't you? Because you're there to do a job, and he's in the way.
So what is your nastiness purely sporting? Is that what it boils down to, is you wanting to be better on the night?
Oh, 100%. I'm very competitive with everything. Even just a normal Monopoly game or something, I'm very competitive. I got to win. But in my mind, if I don't beat this person who's in front of me, I'm not gonna get the chance to give my children the future what I want to give them.
How many children do you have?
I have one and one on the way anytime now.
So before the fight,
before the fight, yeah. I know. I just got to separate. I know it's a hard thing to say. It's got to separate being a dad for that week. And once it's over.
Is it a grudge fight?
I believe so. Because we've known each other for numerous years now. Shared numerous rounds together. Shared a house together. We know each other. We don't get along.
Why not? What does he not like about you?
To be honest, I don't know. I think the way I can weigh it up is 2 different personalities. You've seen me in the gym, you've seen me, I've been with Ukraine with you, you know what type of lad I am, I'm very happy-go-lucky type of character. Daniel's very within himself, very, very stern, very arrogant. And for me, I don't like that type of people, I can chat to anyone, but with him, he's very, very hard work, and our personalities just clashed.
So in July in the O2, what are we going to see?
Fireworks, definitely.
Join us after the break when we go inside the training camp of opponent Daniel Dubois. He'll be looking for knockout number 11 on July the 30th and wants to put on a show.
There's a lot more to show for me, and I think I've got many dimensions to my style, and it's just waiting to come out. Nathan's just the right height, right size for me, and yeah, it's going to be a good night of boxing.
Welcome back to No Filter Boxing. Daniel Dubois versus Nathan Gorman is fast approaching, and we now turn our attention to the Dubois training camp. He's being touted as the next big thing in the heavyweight division and certainly loves to fight.
Daniel Dubois has absolute dynamite in his fists. He's gone. Another imposing performance from the young man.
Fitness-wise, there's not much more fitter I can get right now, so we're just sticking over and keeping the body moving, keeping it so it's ready for action.
Bit of a shakeout today because we're still sparring, and we're sparring tomorrow.
Why do you not 12?
Yeah. So we've got a lot of rounds to do tomorrow. We've got 12 rounds to do tomorrow. So we'll just have a light one today, as you'll see. Work a couple of little things and get the sparring out of the way, and then we'll start tapering, really. Well, to be fair, from the 1st to the 5th, we'll probably still spar one of them days. But we're done then sparring, and then we'll start winding it down from then onwards.
I know I need to be the best fighter I can be on the night, and every fight I go into, this is a fight, and I need to be 100% switched on, and as I am, and listen to the advice from my coaches, my dad, and everyone around me.
He's put the work in, so it's like anything. If you put the work in and you're confident in your work, why wouldn't you be relaxed and looking forward to it?
Yeah, I've known Dan since we were both young babies. We both started off boxing down the Repton and the nursery together, My dad was actually training down for a little while down the nursery. Yeah, I've known him for a long time, seen him grow. My dad always used to say, he can't believe the amount of press-ups he used to be able to do. Yeah, he used to say he had muscles on muscles.
I mean, Dan doesn't say a lot, but believe me, any fight you say to Dan, he wants. When he puts the gloves on, he's a different animal. In here, he's, every day, he's a very nice, polite young man. Never says a bad word about anybody. And I mean, all the time I've been with Dan, I've never heard him say a negative about anyone. Whether we're driving in the traffic and the traffic's bad, he don't comment. He don't comment. When you're screaming at people, he don't comment. He's just a real nice lad. But come fight night and he puts them gloves on, as I said before, if it was his nan in the other corner, he'd attack her. Right, ready? What we're doing this morning, we're just warming up. We're using that as a gentle warm-up, before we actually start our programme. Dan, on the 9, yeah? All fighters run, because that's the foundations of your fitness, you know what I mean? And that's your core stone, yeah? Nice and loose, just shake out, make sure you colour that canvas in. Plenty of movement then. Through your eyebrows, that's class. The benefits of using the ropes, we're just getting some lateral movement and some actual dipping, yeah? It's all part of our warm-up. Most professional fighters use it, most amateur clubs use it. It's an old technique, it's nothing new. We ain't reinvented the wheel, unfortunately. There's always going to be something to work on, but lateral movement and head movement is a big part of what Dan needs to improve on. Heads first, Dan. Just a jab, Dan. Shot, shot. Good, 1, 2, 3, straight, coming at you. Good hit. Jab, shot. 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 Good shot.
That looked like it hurt.
It does.
I mean, I know you've got those gloves on, but I mean, when you finish, is it?
I think like most trainers and that, you get a little bit accustomed to it, but it does jar you a bit, especially your shoulders and elbows.
And is this him hitting at full force, or is he going to step it up?
Some of the shots he drops in, but bearing in mind he'll have smaller gloves on the night. So will Nathan. So it's a big difference. Rope. Ed, do you want a rope? You've got a skipping rope. That's what I want, Dan. That's what I want. Bang them out, bang them out. Over, away you go, straight on, don't rest. Just that one first down on the battle ropes. Get up on your toes, Dan, get it high. Perfect.
Yeah, there's a lot more to show for me, and I think I've got many dimensions to my style, and it's just waiting to come out. Nathan's just the right height, right size for me, and yeah, it's going to be a good night of boxing.
We see him every day in the gym, so we know there's a lot more to his game. But listen, we know there's a lot to Nathan's game. It's going to be a really good fight, and I don't think there'll be any losers. As I've said before, I think further down the line, they'll both be champions. The best man's going to win on the night. Obviously, we believe we've got the best man. Ricky and them believe that they've got the best man.
Oh, that's surely it. And Carter, with that, has been knocked cold.
He's got that killer instinct installed in him, and I think he's had it since a young age. He's spiteful when he smells blood and that, and he's good at getting them out.
Oh, and he's caught him with the left to the jaw, followed by the right hand, and he goes down.
Nothing phases me at all. There's certain, you know, as I've gone in my career, I've started to understand boxing a little bit more and better now than I did when I first started as a professional. But yeah, it's all maturing and growing into the fighter I am today.
I think first couple of rounds Nathan will be all right in that. He's going to be tricky, he's going to be a bit awkward, he's fast, he's elusive, he's sharp, isn't he? I think that weight of Dan sitting on him, the pressure, the feet and that, I think he's going to end up tiring and dying out, and then towards the end I think Dan's going to end up putting him away.
It's just so good that two young, good prospects are meeting at this stage of the game. Because as I said, whoever loses can go on and still win titles. And it's a credit to both of them that they've took this fight. He's like a man on a mission. This is boxing, this is the sport they've chose. Someone's got to lose.
That's all we have time for. Join us again next week as we break down how Dubois versus Gorman will be won and lost. It's a fight that many are calling a 50-50, and it's almost upon us. Don't miss it. Bye for now.
Daniel Dubois.
Everyone's talking like he's the next big thing.
Absolute dynamite. Massive right hand.
They say he's got power, but how can he hit what's not there? He's stiff, he's robotic. I'm too fast, I'm too slick.
Nathan Gorman.
I've sparred him before. Ask him how that went. I'm going to box circles around him, make his head spin. I've been calling for this fight. He does not want it. I'm the man to beat Daniel Dubois.
I'll see you on fight night. You're going to sleep.